Hey everyone, this is Mason. Welcome back to the Herb Rally Podcast. Today's episode is with Dr. Kevin Spelman. And Kevin has dedicated the past 3 decades to researching, advising, and teaching in the natural products realm. He is an avid proponent of education in botanical medicine, having trained physicians in coursework, mentored naturopathic students in clinical rotations, and medicinal plant research. And he co-founded the first Master of Science program in clinical herbal medicine. Understanding the effect of plant compounds on the molecular pathways of human health has been an important part of Dr. Spelman's work. He has 20 years of experience in clinical phytotherapy and another decade in research. He has held laboratory, faculty, and clinical positions at the National Institute of Health, the University of Paris as a Marie Curie Research Fellow, the University of North Carolina, National College of Natural Medicine, now the National University of Natural Medicine, Bastyr University, and the Maryland University of Integrative Health. So I've had the fortune of attending a few of Dr. Spelman's classes at various herb conferences throughout the nation, and I'm always blown away by the amount of science and research that he integrates into his presentations. And you'll just get a little brief snippet of that today in today's episode as he presents on gummies as a CBD dosage format. So it's really fascinating stuff. I think you'll really enjoy it. To learn more about Dr. Kevin Spelman, I highly recommend you check out the SpelmanReport.com. I'll include a link to that in the show notes, but you spell it Spelman, thespelmanreport.com. And I definitely recommend you check out the website as well as subscribe to his newsletter. So big thanks to Dr. Spelman for submitting this audio to the Herb Rally podcast. Also, before we get into the show, I want to let you know that you can get your first 30 days for free of our new membership area. It's called the Herb Rally Schoolhouse. You could just enter coupon code PODCAST at checkout. We come out with new classes each week. We just released one today with herbalist and nurse Heather Shelton, and she gives us a late winter garden tour here in Eugene, Oregon. So we just put her around her garden, and she talks about all the different plants that are coming up. Along with that, we also have a bunch of other classes with herbalists like Maria Noel Groves, Logan Keister, Christina Sanchez, Missy Rose, and we keep adding to the list. We actually just recorded a bunch of content with Howie Brownstein, so he's going to give us a introductory class to demulcents. That's going to also be on the Herb Rally Schoolhouse. So for more information on the Schoolhouse, just go to herbrally.com/schoolhouse. And one more time, to get your first 30 days for free, just enter coupon code PODCAST. So that's going to do it for me today. Enjoy this episode with Dr. Spelman on gummies. All right, I'll talk to you later. Take care. A little bit of housekeeping before we get into the show. The content in this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to cure, diagnose, treat, or prevent any disease. This information has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. We are not doctors, nor do we play one on the internet. Please seek advice from a qualified healthcare professional. Okay, MC Calico, take it away.
Yeah. Smoking herbal blends. We need some Mullen and some Kush, my brethren. While listening to Herb Rally podcast again. Herbalism at its finest with Mason Hutchinson. Yeah.
Hello, I am Dr. Kevin Spelman, a molecular biologist focused on cannabis and medicinal plant research. Today, let's talk about gummies as a dosage format. Now, what are gummies? Grown-ups might remember gummy bears as a sweet treat that came along in the early 1980s. But the candy's origins date back much further than that. German entrepreneur Hans Riegel invented gummy candies in the early 1920s when he started his candy company, Haribo. Riegel was inspired by the trained bears that entertained him as a child in street festivals around Europe. The first base ingredient Riegel used in formulating his creation was gum arabic, which led to the name gummy bears. Gum arabic has been substituted for other compounds today, such as gelatin, pectin, or HPMC, which stands for hydroxypropylmethylcellulose, but the concept is the same. So before gummies were used in the cannabis industry, they were not only a candy, but they were utilized as a delivery system for vitamins and minerals. Now, the key to discussing gummies is understanding bioavailability. And to do that, we must start with understanding a little pharmacokinetics. Let's start in the mouth. In regards to pharmacology, we use the mouth to not only swallow pills, but also for the absorption of medicines if they're held in the mouth for a period of time. So you will hear about both buccal and sublingual absorption, which take place in the mouth. And by the way, buccal means the inside of the cheek and is sometimes pronounced buccal, and sublingual means under the tongue. Mouth absorption has distinct advantages for bioavailability. Holding something in the mouth bypasses the digestive system. We call this bypassing first pass metabolism and delivering active ingredients directly into the bloodstream. By the way, you can also get these advantages by holding liquid extracts in your mouth for a couple of minutes. Now, when it comes to cannabinoids, what kind of bioavailability do we see from buccal and sublingual absorption? First, let's understand that with a gummy, you are getting both buccal and sublingual absorption depending on where one holds it in the mouth. For example, if you hold the gummy on the inside of your cheek, you get buccal absorption, and if you hold it under or on the tongue, you have sublingual absorption. At this point, let's mention that oral absorption of cannabinoids is somewhere between 6% and 20%, depending on whose research you consider. So any dosage format that improves bioavailability of cannabinoids is needed and quite welcomed. And by the way, this is why you see liquid capsules in the market. These too will provide better absorption than just a capsule of powdered ingredients. Studies dating back 20 years ago by Guy and Robson highlight the difference between various dosage formats. What Guy and Robson showed was that both sublingual and buccal absorption of cannabinoids, in this case both CBD and THC, had good Tmax and good Cmax. Now, let's translate that. Cmax is the maximum concentration of cannabinoids in the blood, and Tmax is how quickly the maximum blood level is reached. In other words, how quickly the cannabinoids were absorbed. But one thing to note in this study was they showed that there was considerable inter-individual variability in the time to first appearance of the cannabinoids in the blood. And that range was 15 to 105 minutes, quite a difference. Now let's pin down timing a bit more. A small study by Ewald in 2021 shows that Tmax for cannabinoids in gummies is between 35 and 90 minutes. And of interest, gummies containing only 20% of the THC content of cannabis brownies evoked greater circulating concentrations of THC and in a shorter period. Incidentally, the Tmax for cannabinoids has been found to be 1.5 to 3.5 hours in brownies. Now, gummies can deliver other compounds. As I mentioned previously, gummies have been used to deliver micronutrients such as vitamins and minerals. A study by Wagner and team in 2019 with vitamin D, which, like the cannabinoids, does not have a favorable solubility in an aqueous environment for good bioavailability, showed that vitamin D in a gummy form has about twice the bioavailability as compared to taking it in a pill form. As for pharmaceutical drugs, a study by Takami and group in 2021 of lumotrigine, also a poorly soluble compound, showed 85% drug release within 15 minutes in a gummy form. Now, other studies show that folic acid, a B vitamin, has shown superior bioavailability in a gummy compared to a tablet. And by the way, vitamin C shows about equal bioavailability between a gummy and a tablet. Now, let's look at other advantages of gummies. Besides improved bioavailability, we have taste. Especially when using full spectrum cannabinoid preparations, taste is a great advantage of gummies because of the surrounding matrix in the gummy. You have some sweetness. Ease of use is also a very significant advantage. You can just pop a gummy in your mouth. Gummies also avoid first pass metabolism. And in the case of smoking, or as I like to call it, inhaling burning particulate into the lungs, gummies have no negative effects on the lungs. Lastly, gummies are easy to carry on your person. Now, why would you choose a gummy over other dosage formats? Well, as I just mentioned, those who are squeamish about taste, this is a great advantage. Also, to get more bang for your buck, this is going to be a superior method due to better absorption for the cannabinoids. Now, what about practical application? Let's talk about timing for dosing cannabinoids. And this is going to differ for all people depending on the need. So, for example, If you are dealing with a gummy formulated for sleep, say with some CBN formulated into the product, being able to take your gummy as you are getting ready for a bed 10 minutes before you brush your teeth is great timing to induce a relaxing and sedating state for sleep. Or if you were feeling ill, if you had a gummy that was designed to support immune function, you could easily just carry it with you. Or if you're walking into a social setting and you need some CBD to calm you down, again, a gummy is easy to carry with you. An important aspect of gummies, to get better absorption, don't chew gummies. Let them sit in your mouth and dissolve. And that sums it up for us today. Remember, gummies are a great way to get good absorption of CBD.
And that's going to do it for today's episode. Thanks so much for listening to the Herb Rally podcast. If you'd like to hear more from us here at Herb Rally, we now have a text message community, believe it or not. Basically, it's just updates from us. We send about 1 to 7 texts per week, notifying you about new events, videos, courses, podcasts. You get the idea. It's pretty much like our email newsletter, just in text form. So if you'd like to receive text messages from Herb Rally, just text JOIN, that's JOIN, to the number 541-256-2895. Again, that's JOIN to number 541-256-2895. And to stop receiving texts, that's easy too. Just text STOP to the same number. It'll opt you out immediately. Okay, thanks again for listening. Have a great rest of your day.